and Physical Therapy, and this is Adam. He's a chiropractor with Elite Sport and Spine, and this is part one of the video series. So for this video, we're going to talk a little bit about our backgrounds as a PT and a chiropractor. So Adam, tell me more about you.
So I grew up in the area. I actually grew up in West Dallas. I went to undergrad school at Cardinal Stritch University, just on the north side of Milwaukee. From there, then I went out to Davenport, Iowa, to Palmer College of Chiropractic, where I was there for 3.5, almost 4 years. And I did my undergraduate degree, or got my undergraduate degree there, and my graduate degree there. And then from there, I moved out to Colorado. I practiced a year in Colorado, and then I came back here. So that's my education in a nutshell.
Okay. So kind of similarly with physical therapy, we have a undergrad degree. So my degree is in biology from Chiro. Then it was college because I'm old, but now Chiro University. And then I also had PT school after that. With the way that the program at Chiro worked at that time was that I was in a direct admit program, so I was able to do my undergrad basically in 3 years and then do 3 years of PT school after that. But otherwise, if it's not a direct admit, it's 4 years or however long it takes you to do your undergrad, and then another solid 2 years of PT school, and then you graduate with a entry-level doctorate of physical therapy. So, so when people are talking to us, like you're a doctor as well, correct?
Yes.
So, but this is a little bit different than like, you know, when you would go see like your medical doctor. That's an MD. Yep. That's, you know, a whole different educational track. It's crazy long, and it's very different than what we have. Also, that's different than a PhD.
Yep.
So that's more academic based, research based. Also a very long haul. Yes. So that's, you know, our background. We oftentimes, when we go professionally by, like, you know, Dr. Rush and Dr. Hassan, so, you know, it's all, you know, a like formal term.
Yep.
So, okay. So then if someone wants to become a chiropractor, what's the typical road that they take?
Yeah, I mean, that really depends. I have people in my class that didn't have any sort of biology undergrad degree, like I had an art major in my class. But usually you have to do 3 years of undergrad school, and then you can finish out your undergrad, like you were saying, at your your PT school, which you can also do in chiropractic school, so that's an option. I think most people would do 4 years of an undergrad degree, usually in the health sciences somewhere. We had a lot of exercise science people with undergrad degrees in exercise science, and then they would go and apply at chiropractic school, kind of wherever they wanted. And it's not it's not the hardest to get into it. The prereqs are pretty simple, but it's very easy to fail out of it, just because it's pretty intense and the rigors are pretty high. So that's pretty much the way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, PT is really pretty similar. So, you know, you get your undergrad in pretty much anything, and it depends on the PT school that you're planning on applying to. So, like, there were some people in my PT class that, like, one was a theology major, one was an education major. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of background there. But then you go into the specific, like, physical therapy tract, and then what PT is a generalist degree, so once you graduate, you can work on pretty much anything that involves PT. You can work in a hospital, you can work, you know, in a spinal cord rehab center, you can work in outpatient, like when people come to your office, you know, you can work in pediatrics, you know, there's such a broad variety. So oftentimes, once physical therapists graduate from school, then they go into a specialty. Like my specialty is in manual therapy and orthopedics. So I like seeing people after they've had an injury that can still, you know, make their way into my office that don't need that specific, like, hospital type care. Is chiropractic kind of like that too?
A little bit less as far as like the specialization. You can focus your practice on, like, say you like to work with pregnant moms and newborn babies. You could focus a little bit more of your office. We like to work with athletes, so that's kind of our specialty. But you don't really, after school, you just kind of build your practice based on whatever it is. Unless if you're joining in like a hospital setting, or if you're joining in an existing practice, that would be the only difference. But there's not as much specialization that would occur in chiropractic.
Got it. And so then what kind of patients do you treat in your office?
The majority of the people that I treat in my office are people who are either in the fitness world, whether they're athletes, who do CrossFit, or if they are weightlifters or whatever, versus people who are just, desk jockeys, we like to call them. And pretty much everything in between. You don't have to be a elite athlete to come into my office, but we'll treat you if you want conservative care.
Right. Okay. And then, what is it that made you want to become a chiropractor?
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting question. I have a couple different reasons why. I was a volleyball player in college, and I dealt with a lot of shoulder pain and a lot of knee pain and low back pain. And I didn't do anything but just take ibuprofen and just go back out there. And I figured there was a better way to do it. So I started to look into physical therapy and chiropractic and figuring out what is a better holistic approach to look at the body and make it stronger, more functional and stuff like that. So that was one of the reasons why I looked into it. I have an uncle who practices in Colorado and has been practicing for 34 years now. So he was a big influence. I always liked the way that he carried himself and he interacted with people. And then my senior year of college, we had to do an internship where we had to go out in the healthcare field, and I chose to do it at a chiropractic office. And it was not the style of chiropractic that I practice now. It was very different, high volume. They see like hundreds of people in a day, which is not the style that I practice, but I liked the interaction with people, and I felt that it was cool to be able to talk to people, and they kind of open up to you when they're in pain and dealing with stuff. So that was kind of the three main reasons why I decided to get into it, mainly the athletic background.
Yeah.
What about you? Why did you get into PT?
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar. I was a mediocre athlete, like all growing up. I was that kid that was exposed to everything, from like golf lessons to like playing basketball, softball, and a little bit of track, like just a little bit of everything, which actually has served me very well in my career because I have a very wide breadth of knowledge. And so I can relate to a lot of different clients who are coming from all kinds of different backgrounds. But really what got me into it was that like one-on-one, like holistic approach. I shadowed a physical therapist when I was in high school. Like I was really lucky growing up that I really never had any major injuries with all like the sports that I played. So the first time I walked into a PT clinic was when I was job shadowing, and I remember walking in there and seeing like the balls and the exercise equipment and all that stuff, and I'm like, this is like my world, like this is what I grew up doing, this is what I love to do. And then just seeing how people were using the power of their own bodies to heal. I think, that's a really, almost like spiritual experience, that you have this amazing like power within you, and when you work hard at it, you can achieve like so many things that you may not have thought is possible when, your back is hurting you so badly that you can't even get up off the floor. So it's really just a phenomenal, kind of thing. So I think that's where like we have a lot in common in that, one-on-one treatment is super important to us, that your treatment is individualized to you and what, you as a patient need, and that we can take the time, Adam mentioned the like high volume aspect, like that happens in physical therapy as well, and not to say that any of that is bad, like it's just another way of practicing, but we have chosen, in our practices to be able to take the time to spend with our patients.
Agreed.
All right, so stay tuned, more to come.